Hey everyone, how's it going? For today's presentation, let's take an up-close and personal, in-depth look at the all-new 2014 Chevrolet Corvette Stingray Z51 Convertible. And this is going to be a detailed, in-depth review of the Stingray. We'll start it up, show the engine, get an exhaust clipping over the performance data, as well as show you a bunch of the unique aspects of the interior as well as exterior. And before we begin, I'd like to take a moment to extend a big thanks and special shout out to Reed Lothier Chevrolet, located in Fayetteville, North Carolina, for allowing me to come down and film and providing the Stingray featured in today's in-depth review. And so, without further ado, let's go ahead and start her up, let her run. As you can see, the Stingray also comes standard with remote start. The exterior color is in a cyber gray metallic and features a combination of jet black leather as well as Alcantara seating surfaces, not to mention white color accent stitching found throughout. And along with that smart key system, the vehicle also features standard remote push-button ignition via the button mounted on the right-hand side of the dash. All you have to do to start is just put your foot on the brake and hit the button to go. Beautiful sound. For 2014, the Corvette now features an electric assist variable ratio speed proportional power steering system which helps aid in efficiency. The new system is 5 times stiffer than the old hydraulic system in order to help keep the connected feel the hydraulic systems are typically known for. The wheel is also smaller, just 14.1 inches in diameter. Of course, wrapped in soft, supple leather with heavy grips up top and white contrast stitching with plenty of satin silver trim that surrounds the airbag and multifunction controls. The C7 can be had with your choice of 2 transmissions, either an updated version of last year's 6-speed automatic with steering wheel mounted paddle shifters, or the new standard Tremec 7-speed manual with active rev matching. The active rev matching is activated via the paddles behind the steering wheel, the same ones that you would use to change the gears in an automatic. The new transmission also uses a smaller dual-mass flywheel and smaller twin-disc clutch which improves responsiveness, reduces performance loss by decreasing friction, and making it easier to shift. The Z51 features shorter gearing and a tighter overall ratio spread. 7th gear acts as a 3rd overdrive gear and among other systems allows the C7 to achieve nearly 30 miles to a gallon on the highway. One of the first things you'll notice regarding the dash of the Stingray is the new instrumentation cluster, a combination of digital and mechanical gauges that now houses your entertainment, vehicle settings, and driver information system. It's a reconfigurable 8-inch thin-film transistor with your tach and speed readouts with different style gauges depending on which drive mode you're in. Winter, economy, and touring modes have the same layout. Economy is the only setting that allows for cylinder deactivation or active fuel management. Going to Sport, you have a little bit more of a defined tach with accessory gauges, and it also opens up the exhaust a bit. Track has a C4-inspired hockey stick-style tack with expanded red line for racing and the least restrictive exhaust setting.
And so, we're going to flip on the automatic bi-xenon projector headlamps, as well as the hazards. Both of the windows are fully automatic as standard, and we're going to check out the exterior. The vehicle will also chime a few times, letting you know it's lost detection of the proximity key fob.
Today's American muscle and sports car segment is packed with great variety, a combination of modern with a touch of classic style, old rivalries brought back to life, and even total reinventions of classic nameplates. Those nameplates have lived on as true to their roots as their vintage brethren, or new interpretations of their historical soul, repackaged into a more practical, contemporary-style vehicle. While retro has been great with some, others, like the new 7th generation Corvette Stingray, has been designed with the future in mind. Chevrolet's flagship of emotion has taken to new heights of precision, quality, and engineering never before seen in a Corvette. It's designed not only to have the most powerful naturally aspirated V8 the series has ever seen, but to also feature an interior and level of comfort that would finally bring it in line with the world's upper echelon of GT cars. The all-new 2014 Corvette enters its 7th generation and resurfaces as the famed Stingray nameplate. The original Stingray debuted back in 1963 as the all-new 2nd generation, or C2, approximately 10 years after the first Corvette was launched. The Stingray nameplate carried through the C3 in 1968 and lasted until 1982 before being replaced with the C4 in 1984. The C2 and C3 both carried the Stingray nameplate and featured striking fenders, a long prominent hood, and sloping rear deck. Even though the bodies and interiors were different between the generations, it was still undeniably a Stingray. 1984 marked the first total revision of the Corvette lineup that would carry on until 1997 with the introduction of the C5. The C6 then came out for 2005 and then finished up just last year. For 2014, however, it can be easily said that the new C7 is the most heavily revised new model in Corvette history. As modern as it is, it still features some classic Stingray proportions without being retro. The rear glass in coupe models no longer wraps around the C-pillars but is confined to its own space, while extended glass across the sides into the rear pillars help improve visibility. The vehicle is slightly longer, gaining 2.4 inches in length and 1 inch in width, and was designed with aerodynamics in mind with lessons learned through racing. The vents in the body are all functional and help decrease drag or help cool various components. The body panels are now made of a new sheet-molded composite that's lighter and firmer than previous materials. Carbon fiber also makes up the standard material for both the hood and the roof in hardtop models. Of course, for an additional cost, the roof can be finished in exposed carbon fiber. Since carbon fiber offers less thermal expansion and movement than fiberglass or composite materials, it's able to keep more of a consistent shape and add to rigidity. With the use of these lighter materials and the sheet-molded composite panels, the C7's body weighs just 37 pounds less than last year's model. As you would expect, construction precision has also been improved, utilizing body gaps of 3mm or less. The Corvette isn't a stranger to aluminum frames and components, but the C6 was never fully adapted to take full advantage of its benefits. Aluminum is both lighter and stiffer than steel and allows more torsional rigidity for higher performance demands. The C7 features an all-new aluminum frame, designed and built in-house at the Bowling Green plant. The last Corvette featured continuous 4mm thick hydroformed frame rails in the Z06. The C7's frame is composed of 5 segments of various thickness and compositions. The outer portions are 2.4mm aluminum extrusions that are then attached to rigid cast nodes that mount up to the suspension. The middle hydroformed rail is 3.8mm thick. When comparing torsional rigidity between the C6 and C7, the Z06 was the first to use extensive aluminum and originally built as a coupe rather than an open top like the C7. The C7's frame is 22% stiffer than the closed-roof Z06. The standard frame is nearly 100 pounds lighter and 57% stiffer than the outgoing steel frame. This is also thanks to the addition of new cross members and a larger central tunnel. 18 pounds were added back, however, due to the new steel housing with the central torque tube that was added to help decrease vibration from the new engine cylinder deactivation system when it converts to a V4 at cruising speed. Aluminum also makes up more components of the suspension, while the overall design remains the same. Short and long arm double wishbones in the front with multi-link transverse composite springs in the rear. The front and rear cradles are now made of hollow cast aluminum rather than the previous solid units. This leads to a 25-pound decrease and 20% increase in stiffness. Hollow lower control arms save 9 pounds, and a new aluminum rear toe link setup gives 2.4-pound advantage over the C6's steel links. Stingrays equipped with the Z51 performance package also feature larger 45mm Bilstein monotube shocks, which can be coupled with the third generation of GM's magnetic selective ride control, which now reacts 40% quicker than its predecessor. If you go for the Z51 package, you also get a 3-mode electronic limited slip differential, a dry sump lubrication system, differential and transmission oil coolers mounted in the rear fenders, as well as unique aerodynamic upgrades. The rear fender vents pass air through the coolers and out via the vents in the rear's tail lamps. Even the radiator was repositioned up front for the first time to allow air to pass through the hood and over the car, thus increasing downforce. The dual mode exhaust like we have here adds about 5 horsepower to 460 and enhances the sound multiple ways by opening the valves in the exhaust at certain RPMs or through the various driving modes. A performance traction option is also available for further fine-tuning. Since the C7 was engineered as a convertible from the beginning, it doesn't differ much from the Coupe. Weight is up by a mere 64 pounds, while very minor interior reconfiguration was needed for the folding roof, which takes 21 seconds to open and close. The rear deck lid is also unique. Other than that, both cars are nearly identical in their performance, tuning, brakes, and more. Overall length is 176.9 inches with a width of 73.9 inches and a height of 48.6 inches, riding on a 106.7-inch wheelbase. Total curb weight, as you see here, is around 3,491 pounds. Cars with the Z51 package receive unique wheels and higher performance brakes. Standard Corvettes come with 18-inch wheels in front and 19 inches in the rear, while Z51s receive unique forged alloys measuring 19 by 8.5 inches in front and 20 by 10 inches in the rear. The Michelin Pilot Super Sport tires are stickier and specifically designed for the Corvette, measuring 245/35 in front and 285/30 in the rear. Brakes are large Brembo 13.6-inch discs in front and 13.3-inch discs in the rear, with 4-piston fixed calipers and a 6% increase in surface area when compared to the C6 Grand Sport. The standard brakes have a 35% increase in surface area in general. All of the discs are ventilated but now feature curved slots rather than drilled holes. Like the Corvette race car, a design that's been proven to be more durable and less prone to cracking under higher demand scenarios. The Z51 also features brake cooling ducts front and rear. The front is fed through the grille, while the rear is fed from underneath the car. The new brakes bring the car to a stop from 60 miles an hour in a very short 104 feet. Overall, the C7 can easily pull over 1G in cornering forces, right in line with what you see at the Z06 and ZR1. That goes the same for the convertible version. The C7 features a new 6.2-liter all-aluminum pushrod V8, reappearing as the LT1. It's now part of the new Gen 5 small block family. With the same displacement as last year's LS3, there are very few parts carried over to the C7. The engine's slightly heavier, but it's actually smaller and lighter than an overhead cam engine, which helps keep the car low rather than raising the hood. Now fixed with direct injection, variable valve timing, and active fuel management, it's able to achieve lofty performance numbers and improve low-end torque, while still retaining great V8 fuel economy. With the dual-mode exhaust, it pumps out 460 horsepower at 5,900 RPM and 465 pound-feet of torque at 4,750 RPM. Compression ratio is 11.5 to 1 with a 6,500 RPM redline. This translates to 0 to 60 times as low as 3.8 seconds, with quarter-mile times around 12 seconds and 117 miles an hour. The active fuel management system works via cylinder deactivation to turn the V8 into a 3.1-liter V4 at cruising speeds while in eco mode. In this mode, the LT1 is producing 126 horsepower and 221 pound-feet of torque at 3,000 RPM, which is perfectly capable for maintaining higher speed. The new traction management system also modifies engine spark and ignition timing rather than the brakes to help control the vehicle. In addition to that, it also detects everything from wheel speeds, lateral G, and even tire temperature to maximize traction. As far as fuel economy, with an 18.5-gallon tank and required premium fuel, EPA estimates range between 17 miles to a gallon in the city and 29 on the highway. Probably the biggest area for improvement over the past couple Corvette generations was interior comfort, fit, and finish. The C7 features an unparalleled level of comfort, build quality, and technology when compared to the C6. Interior surfaces are soft to the touch, with new leather-like padded material or hand-stitched leather. Genuine carbon fiber is available for the dash, and what looks like aluminum is in fact aluminum. There's not a single piece of interior carried over from the C6, which gives the C7 a totally fresh, new feel. Your power locks, windows, and memory seats are located on the door, while your mirrors are located on the dash. The seating was actually another big concern compared to the last generation. There are two different options available, the GT seat and competition seat. The GT seat like we have here is a nice blend of padding and lateral grip for everyday use. The competition seat is more race-inspired, with spots to insert a racing harness and more grip under higher cornering. The seats also feature magnesium frame rails and stiffer structure to prevent flexing from bending. In fact, the seats were actually built by the same supplier that makes seats for Porsche. In order to make more space for the passengers in the seats, the airbags were repositioned to a separate entity on the sides of the seats rather than integrated into the cushion. The seats are also fully powered with power lumbar and have available heating and cooling functions. There's a little bit of extra storage space in the parcel shelf behind each of the front seats, and not to mention the signature Corvette Convertible waterfall theme as it blends into the center console. As we continue on throughout the rest of the interior, down below you have Corvette logoed aluminum door sill entry guards. You have a bit of all-weather protection on the floor mat down below, as well as aluminum sport pedals. The steering wheel is power tilt telescoping, whereas the dash is entirely wrapped into the soft padded material with white color exit stitching as it flows into the center console. Your power mirrors are located to the left-hand side, as are your heads-up display controls.
So let's go and see how she sounds. First, in touring mode. Switch on over to Sport. You can automatically hear the baffles open in the exhaust. An amazing sound difference. And track. It unleashes the full sound potential of the C7. Alright, so we'll go ahead and put the top back up. I went ahead and filmed the passenger portion with the top down as well so you can get the different perspective. very tight-fitting panels. Now the new driver info setup is controlled by the little arrows and select button on the right-hand side of the steering wheel. Basically, this controls the different menus and sub-menus, and then you hit select when you found your confirmed option. So when you're on the standard tachometer, if you click to the left, it'll bring up all the different options. If you click info, it'll bring you back to the screen that we're looking at right here, and it houses your digital speedometer, trip, fuel data, as well as vehicle diagnostics. Click it back over and go down 1 to performance, and your digital speed readout disappears and it's just your full tachometer, and this is all of your track data essentially. So lateral G's, tire temperature, other accessory gauges, lap timers 0 to 60 times. The vehicle has an integrated launch control, so you can utilize that a little bit more effectively.
There's also little intricate systems that could be useful for the future used car market. You can see the vehicle's total revolutions per minute over the life of the vehicle to see if it's been driven hard or just down the highway in 7th gear.
Going down, you have your audio, Bluetooth telephone, navigation if equipped, as well as the vehicle settings. You can adjust the pocket gauges, set a speed warning, change your units, as well as manually change which speedometer layout that you want. You can link it to the drive mode, which I already did right here, so when you change it to like Touring, Track, Sport, Eco, it'll automatically change the gauge style. Otherwise, like I said, you can change it here. Now this particular Stingray is the 2LT package, which comes standard with a premium 9-speaker Bose surround sound system, fed through the Chevrolet MyLink touchscreen-based mobile media navigation telemetrics interface. Now the Chevrolet MyLink, just like GMC's IntelliLink and Cadillac's Q system, is a smartphone-based mobile media system that does well with integrating a lot of the modern smartphone technology such as Pandora Internet Radio, and the overall app-style fashion like you would see on an iPhone, iPad, or something of that nature. One of the coolest functions of these systems is the movable screen. Revealing a hidden storage compartment with a USB input, it's also lined in felt and LED lit. Right now, we're in our main home screen that you would access via that button right there. If we go to the audio screen, right now we're in the media function. There's a shortcut key right here, along with the different radio modes and satellite radio. So this is what you would typically see in the media screen: your artist, song, album information, album artwork if it's available, powered through Grace Note. You have voice commands tailored for the different functions, whether it be for your radio, telephone, or navigation.
Say an audio command.
Help.
To tune to a radio station, say the command tune, followed by an AM or FM station number, or an XM channel name or number. You can also choose audio from your media by saying the command play followed by a genre goodbye.
So it lists everything out for you, and like I said, depending on whether you're in your telephone or navigation, it'll have different commands that it'll bring up. Rewind, fast forward, seek, pausing the track in the middle there, as well as your preset stations down below. There's actually 10 different presets that you would just swipe back and forth to go between the different sets. Media menu, including your equalizer and surround sound settings, as well as the Bose Audio Pilot, using the vehicle's speakers to compensate for exterior road noise, making the interior more quiet. Up top, you also have some shortcut keys for the telephone and navigation, and you have your outside temperature and clock always displaying. Inside, you can browse the available tracks in the media that you're currently in, or utilizing the little wheel in the middle to make your appropriate selection. Within the radio screen, it's pretty similar overall. You do have some album artwork that could display if it's available, but because this is a hard drive based system, you can actually pause and rewind back to the point you started listening to a specific song if you wanted to go back and listen to a specific part. You can also browse the available stations, select by category, and more. Your hands-free Bluetooth telephone, it'll automatically ask you to pair it if you haven't done so already, otherwise all of your paired devices will show up here. The voice recognition system tailored to the telephone, contacts, recent, dialing pad, as well as storing voicemails. Once you have a successful device paired, such as an iPhone for instance, that little microphone will display and allow you to use the phone's voice recognition system, such as Siri, through the MyLink system. Navigation is an optional feature, of which this one's equipped with. Zooming in and out, your destination input with real-time traffic updates, and navigation menu. vehicle settings, other customizable options, Pandora Internet Radio if you have your smartphone connected, as well as real-time weather updates. Current forecasts, extended, hourly, 5-day, as well as an interactive weather map. You can also customize the menus with different apps as well as the organization. You also have an OnStar shortcut located down below. Soft padded A-pillars, microphone for your hands-free Bluetooth telephone, as well as a padded visor that features 3-position garage home link and an illuminated vanity mirror. Your rear view mirror is a throwback retro frameless style, auto-dimming with touch-sensitive OnStar controls, not to mention your LED reading lamps located to either side. Continuing down the center console, like I said, the shortcut keys, as well as the controls for your simple-to-use electronic automatic climate control. Your temperature adjustment to the left, it also shows up in the screen. Fan speed off to the right here. Different zones, front and rear defrost, syncing both sides, recycling, as well as one-touch automatic. This particular one also has 3-stage heated and ventilated seats for the driver and passenger. While both of them can be controlled here, there's also independent adjustments on the right-hand side next to the climate control switch. Now what's cool about the plaque in the bottom portion of the dash, the ones that are just ordered from the factory at a dealership will likely just have the Corvette Stingray. But you can actually order the car and personalize it to have your name written there, not to mention have a delivery experience where you can pick it up at the factory. Continuing on back, you have a 12-volt power outlet, as well as 2 cup holders. The color accent stitching and soft touch trim trail all the way into the center console, where it is modest storage, SD card input, auxiliary, 2 USB ports, and another power outlet. Across the steering wheel, you have your intermittent wipers to the right, as well as your lining turn signal and high beam to the left. Cruise control here, changing the different favorite stations, or seek, track, radio volume, the driver info system controls, and your hands-free telephone and voice commands.
Command, please.
Help.
You can say phone, audio, navigation, weather, or OnStar. To call a number quicker, say call followed.
Cancel. Now this Stingray also has a built-in heads-up display that's actually an optional feature. The controls are located to the left-hand side, right next to the convertible top switch. And it's all beamed up onto the windshield with different views and information that you can display. Change the height, as well as the brightness. You just gotta love the attention to detail in the new Stingray, with the way the dash curves and flows around, and the color accent stitching that trails all of the key highlights. Very nice. A drastic improvement over the C6. So let's go ahead and check out the rest of the vehicle, shall we?
Cargo space for the Corvette has always been pretty good for what it is thanks to its hatchback design. Open up that hatch and you'll find around 15 cubic feet of cargo space only in the coupe variant. Space for the convertible drops to just 10 cubic feet. It's also illuminated, and an interesting fact, Chevrolet has implemented the use of shaped metal alloys to perform various functions throughout the vehicle. For example, the heat generated by the cargo lamp causes a metal alloy wire to alter its shape, thus opening up a pressure release flap to make closing the trunk or hatch easier. After it's shut, it returns to its normal form and the flap closes.
The passenger seat also features the same power adjustments, including the power lumbar that you find on the driver's seat. And down below, you also have an electronically actuated glove box with a modest amount of storage and lined in soft material. And another shot of the color accent stitching coming down the center grip handle, as well as the passenger side portion of the dash.
The 7th generation 2014 Corvette Stingray is by far the most innovative Corvette yet. It launches the nameplate back up the ranks of the competitive sports car segment. With a fantastic value for your dollar, considering the engineering, performance, and build, it's one of the best high-performance bargains you can buy.
Well everyone, I hope you enjoyed the in-depth look at the all-new 2014 Chevrolet Corvette Stingray Convertible. Be sure to stay tuned next time, there's a lot more where that came from. Take care everybody.